Hey, when did you get back? No, I didn't hear you come in. Guilty. I have been playing for a little while. You know, time is just a concept. Especially when it suits me. I'm not sure. Maybe an hour or two. I'm finally running ahead of my schedule, and I thought I would pencil in some gaming time. Well, you know, the best part of our setup is that you can sit right next to me while you work or play, depending on what mood you're in. Hey. You know me, ever the problem solver. You can always count on me for the answers. Come on, sit down, babe. Was there something else that you wanted to do? There's no harm in taking a moment to decide what you feel like doing. No, I'm not just saying that because I'm playing a game. What would give you that idea? I'm not sure what the game time on this is. I didn't check, I just started playing it. I have no idea, it was just on a whim. It's such an old game at this point. Well, I have them from Witcher 1 through to 3. And I'm about halfway through book 6, I think. It just felt like the right time to start playing the games. The controls are a bit funny to start with. And there's a lot to remember in terms of combat skills. Like changing your fighting style to suit your opponent. It's not super complicated. Yeah. Some people might not mind it, but I don't like having to remember all that. Exactly. It's quite the change from my usual love of zombie shooters. But yeah, I'm really liking it though. It's a good kind of different. Yeah, this was the enhanced edition. I have no idea what differences there might be. Yeah, I'm guessing they just boosted up the graphics or something. Just to keep up with the boost in popularity. It's a bit of a weird one to explain. I feel like there was still a bit of a disconnect between watching the first season and then jumping into the books. And I'm still mega annoyed at the ending of season 2. I can't believe they did that. I haven't even reached that point in the books. I thought I was safe being 5 books deep, but apparently not. But you've heard me rant about that enough. Going from the books to the video game was kinda nice. It was like stepping out of the books straight into that world. I love that it starts at Kaer Morhen. It kinda tickled me. I've always pictured it a certain way when I read the book, and the game adds the details to fill in any of the blanks that I might have had. Yeah, you get to see the characters too. It got me thinking. Haha. Imagine how cool it would be if every book had a video game counterpart. And I mean every single book. Sci-fi, fiction, fantasy, horror, especially the literary classics. That's true. A lot of the popular ones have made them at some point, but can you imagine? You've just finished a series that you love, and naturally, you have the post-series blues. But fear not, you can jump straight into that world again. Oh, I'm glad you asked. There would be 2 game modes, story mode and open world. You could mess about with different choices in story mode, and in open world, it would be a complete free-for-all. I mean, there's the usual suspects, so like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and they already have games in some form or another. But then there's things like Supernatural or the Dresden Files that I think I'd probably spend the majority of my life playing. For the classics, oh my gosh, I think Pride and Prejudice would be epic. Story mode would be fun, but I think open world would be hilarious. Going around visiting the houses and attending the parties that they host. Spreading rumours and gossip. And getting into arguments with Mr. Darcy. Oh, I don't think it would be long before there were mods for it. Can you imagine one where you can rob Pemberley? Don't ask me why, that's where my mind went to. I'm afraid I don't know the answer. What obvious one am I forgetting? Of course. Someone wrote Pride, Prejudice and Zombies. I forgot about that. That would be insane in VR. I can picture Darcy kicking zombie butt. Mr. Collins. That's a tough question. I'm afraid Mr. Collins would probably fall foul to a mob of the zombie scourge. And let's be honest, he wouldn't survive for more than a day in a zombie apocalypse anyway. And I've completely forgotten what quest I was supposed to be doing. I have a sneaking suspicion that that was your intention all along. To distract me, of course. It never takes too much, does it? I'm looking through my quest log to figure out what I should be doing. Hey, I'm a witcher. My job is quite the serious one. Many lives depend on it. And not to mention, I need to make some money. Books are very expensive in this game. They look cool though. Like old leather-bound hardbacks. Yeah, look at this icon. I guess I am justifying it. Isn't it good to see some things not change? Sorry? No, honey. It's not a multiplayer game. You know it's not. I appreciate the sentiment. I've no doubt you'd buy them all for me. Brownie points for trying. A little bit longer. Have you figured out what you want to do yet? Not yet? And are you distracting me for the sake of distracting me? Or out of boredom, perhaps? I wasn't aware there was a third option. Do tell. I missed you too. That's not fair, you know. You know that I can't say no to you when you're like that. Like that. You know exactly what you're doing. I didn't call you that. You did. I would never even think about accusing you of guilt-tripping me. And all over a game. Darling, you absolutely would. And have done. And no doubt will continue to do so. I never said I mind. But I will remember it. And I'll be sure to remind you when you least expect it. I'll give you a second to guess what I mean. It's only fair, right? You'll be completely engrossed in a game, and I shall come a-calling. No, not at all. It wouldn't be out of revenge or trying to get my own back. Bold of you to assume that I don't always want to be in your company and spend time with you. You know you love it. 'Cause you can't even argue with that. Right then, what are we playing? Yeah, that's enough of The Witcher for one day. We could play something together, or we could do something completely different. It's up to you, babe. Depends on what you're in the mood for. What haven't we played recently? We haven't played League in a long time. They've changed so much now. ARAM is a good shout, and my favourite. I always preferred it. People get too serious in Rift, and I'm just way too slow typing back whilst trying to play the game. I always had to go hide in a bush to reply to messages, and it may or may not have got me killed a few times. I know you can mute everyone, but then it takes away from the game. But yeah, we can spend an hour waiting for the updates. And then maybe get in a few games of ARAM. But beware, my love, it may rekindle the old addiction. Just a disclaimer, nothing more. You know how hyped up I get playing that? It's when I go super silent that you should begin to worry about me. After the initial honeymoon phase is over, you've played a few games and then bam, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and 2 months later before you realize how long you've been gone and your family have reported you missing. Oh wow, that's a pretty big update needed. Do you even still have it on your PC? I'm sure you completely deleted it last time. I told you. What else is there? That's definitely a throwback. We played Left 4 Dead 2 so much at one point. I think we've left it long enough to be able to enjoy it again. I did enjoy it then. What are you talking about? I had completely forgotten about that. I suppose I was a little bit annoyed that one game. You know, I wouldn't even say annoyed. I was just a bit sad, that's all. You can't blame me for that. You would have been too, but I've never done that to you, so... Babe, you let me get dragged away by a smoker and just left. I know it was to win the round, but still... You did not just say that. You made that joke last time. It is the name of the game, and nobody knows it better than I do. Hey, it's not as if I brought it up. You reminded me, otherwise I had more or less forgotten. True, it was just the one time. But you know, I've never done that to you. You can't deny it either. You are better at the game, but on the few occasions that you've fallen behind or been caught, I've always made my way back to you. I could never leave you behind. You're my ride or die. Hell yeah. Let's get the game downloaded. And of course, it's a big one. Nowhere near as bad as League though. What can we do to pass the time a bit quicker? I like your out-of-the-box thinking. Lead the way.